This is Introduction to Java Programming and Data Structures, Chapter 1, Programming Exercise 1. So for this exercise, we're going to learn to display three messages. The message we're going to display are 1, Welcome to Java, 2, Welcome to Computer Science, and 3, Programming is fun. So how are we going to display these three messages in Java? Well, Java has a class called System. The System class contains a variable called out, and the out variable has a method called print. We'll be using the class, variable, and method together to display a string on the console. So we put that together, it will be something like this. This is a statement. This is a piece of code that we will be writing in Java. All right, so system.operator out.operator print. And within that, this we'll be writing a string. So we'll start that off with a parentheses, a quotation mark, and we could enter our string within the quotation mark. We'll end it with a quotation mark and a parentheses, and we'll end this entire statement with a semicolon. All right, so that is how we're going to display message in Java. But before we do that, we should learn a little bit more about the system class. We should also know how to search up these information if we ever want to try something else. All right, so by default, we could always go to Oracle, who writes the official documentation for Java. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Oracle and we're going to take a look. So Oracle on their website has Java documentation. And what we're going to look for is the out variable in the system class. Now this system class contains a lot of methods and variables. We're going to just use specifically one of them. Now as you can see, the package that the system class is in java.lang. This java.lang, if we want to use the system class, we have to import java.lang.system to be able to use it. But you should know that by default, Java imports java.lang.**. So import everything from the lang class for you, or the lang package. So you don't have to do it, but you should know that. That way, you'll know how to import it yourself. All right. So let's see. We're going to take a quick look at the out variable in Java, in the Java class system. Now right here, we have a little bit of information. It shows that the out variable, it is a public variable, a static variable, a final variable, and this variable is of print stream type. You want to know a little bit more about print stream. Print stream is another class in Java, right? Class print stream. And for a brief summary, it says a print stream adds functionality to another output stream, namely the ability to print representations of various data values conveniently. Two other features are provided as well. Now, this is how we're able to display data onto the console. We're actually using the print stream class. We're not going to go too deep into it. So let's see, the standard output stream. So out is the standard output stream. This stream is already open and ready to accept output data. Typically, this stream corresponds to display output or another output destination specified by the host environment or user. For simple standalone Java applications, a typical way to write a line of output data is System.out.println, and within the parentheses, the data that you want to display. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to just use something very simple to display some message onto the console. All right, so once again, the point of this is that if you want to know a little bit more about certain classes, you can always search it on Oracle.com, who writes the official Java documentation. All right, so how are we going to be able to solve this? Now, to be able to solve this, pretty simple, right? We use the System.out.println statement, and in that statement, we write our string. So we could write, welcome to Java, welcome to computer science, and programming is fun. But we were just to enter it like this, just enter a message in here, and then write another one multiple times. It's going to be a mess. It's going to all appear on one line with no space stuck together, and that looks absolutely terrible. What we should do is write them in each line. Write welcome to Java, and then we start a new line, and then we write welcome to computer science, and in a new line we write programming is fun. So how are we going to do that? We'll be learning to do that also in the exercise. So I'm not gonna show you everything right here, but I just wanna allow you to notice something or that kind of issue right now while we continue on. So that will be in the back of your mind. All right. Now, before we could write any code at all, we have to know about the main method, because we're going to be writing codes inside the main method. Now, the main method is written as public static void main with parentheses, the data type string, followed by this bracket right here, and the name of the variable, args, short for arguments. This variable is of an array string or string array type. Don't worry about too much of any of these. For now, just know that within the main method is where you are going to write your code. And I'll of course explain more on the main method in future exercises. All right. So as we can see, each word inside the main method, just for a small little summary on it, public static void in this have a specific function. Don't have to worry too much about it. Just know that the importance of the main method is that in Java, it is the entry point into the application. So when you write your code, when you write your class, and you write your main method, and inside that main method has a whole bunch of statements in there, all your code, when you run the program, the Java compiler looks for this main method, this particular method, and run everything within it. And of course, we'll go more into detail in that in the programming exercise and in future exercises. And finally, let's just review a few keywords. Keywords that I've been throwing out in this entire video. And since I've been throwing it out and you don't understand what these keywords mean, you're not going to really be able to understand the rest of this video. So let's try to understand, and let's start with the method keyword first, right? Methods is going to be used a lot. Now, personally, I found tutorials points method to be a good example. Why? That's because they're explaining the print line method, which is what we're going to be using, which is why I've decided to grab this instead. So let's read this first. A Java method is a collection of statements that are grouped together to perform an operation. When you call the System.out.println method, for example, the system actually executes several statements in order to display a message on the console. Now, one thing that they didn't explain is how do you know what is a method and what isn't a method. Now, the most easiest way to be able to identify a method is that a method is always followed by a parentheses. This parentheses here show that this print line is a method. So let me see if I could actually show more example. So you can see right here, all these print line is followed by parentheses because this print line right here is a method. This set in right here is a method. All right. So just for you to be able to in the future to be able to easily tell what is a method and what isn't, method will always be followed by a parentheses and end it with a parentheses. All right. Now you will learn how to create your own. Actually, no, you don't need to learn how to create your own method. Just understand that Java method is a collection of statements that are grouped together to perform an operation. So if that isn't really, or if you're not really able to grasp that concept of what this definition means, don't worry. We'll be using a lot of methods in our future videos, and I will be continuing to further elaborate on it. But for now, once again, I want to jump back to the main method. As you can tell, this main method has the parentheses, so you know that this is a method. And for more detail, look, public static void main followed by parentheses, and inside the parentheses, well, that I'll go into detail another time, but no, hey, that you could tell instantly this main is a method. And inside the method will contain all kinds of statements to define what this method do, or what kind of, well, let's just say define what this method do. All right, and then there's the class. Now, class, let's jump back to system class, right? The system class. Java has a class called system, and we're going to be writing inside class. Class contains the blueprint to create objects, and I just want to just leave it there for now, because right now we just want to understand the basics, but what I really want to bring up is what you're going to be doing in Java. You're going to be using class a lot, even if you don't even notice you're using it. And what you're actually doing is you're just using the information that this class has, and you're grabbing it and you're performing some kind of function. But for now, class is just a blueprint to create objects. We're going to be using the system class. And lastly is the import keyword. Now, to be able to use, we're jumping back to class again. To be able to use many class and other features and functions, we have to import it. And import is the keyword to identify for Java, to let Java know that you are trying to grab a certain resource from Java and use that resource. So import is a declaration. You use the keyword import to specify a class you want to use. And we're going to be import a lot. All right. And finally, let's jump to the programming exercise. All right. Now let me go back to the main method first. And here we are. Let me just clear this. That to the side. Now, why I want to talk about class, import, and main method. And that's because many people, when they're learning to program, whoever is teaching them to program, don't teach them the basics. Don't teach them about how to create a class or how to import. They just teach them how to do a certain thing, but not explain where it comes from. So for now, let's show how to create a class. And of course, in future videos, I won't be doing this. I will be jumping straight to the exercise. But in this video, I'm just going to take a little bit more slower and to go a little bit more into detail. Now, for me, I'm using the IDE called Intellij. IDE is short for Integrated Development Environment. This makes the life of a developer much easier. Everything is right there, and we could easily create something without having to go to too much trouble. Now, if your processor requires you to do something more different, such as using the console to create the class, then I'll definitely try to understand that on your own first before jumping to this, because this makes things much easier with an IDE. Now, Intellij, I created a folder or a package called Introduction to Java Programming and Data Structures. In this folder, inside this project, actually, this is a project I created. Well, by default, a source folder is created. In the source folder, I created a folder. Now, this folder is known as a package. You could right click the source folder, click new, and go all the way to package. Package is just short for where you could organize all your classes together. Some classes should be grouped together while others shouldn't. Now that is more about encapsulation, and we'll go into that in another time. Alright, so that's how you create a package. Now within this package, I'm going to create a class. Now this class is where we'll be writing all our code. We'll be writing the code where where the compiler will look into and run and display the three messages. So let's click that Java class, and we're going to give it a name. Now earlier I did mention that by convention, you should always name the first letter of your class as an uppercase followed by all lowercase letter. So I'm not sure if I actually said that. I should have, right? By convention, always name the first letter of your class as an uppercase followed by all lowercase letter. So that is a convention. Now if you take a look at the system class, it is start with an uppercase followed by all lowercase. You don't have to do this, it won't affect your program, but it's good to follow conventions and make your code easier to see. Now for mine, I'm just going to write programming exercise 1. All right. And to make it shorter, I could remove all of that. Or I could just leave it as is. Now if I want to create space, Java does not allow spaces. So if you write a space in between, let me actually click OK. And there we go. So it'll say this is not a valid Java qualified name. Why? Is it because I did not follow convention where if I say PR, right? No, it's not that. This is just convention. It doesn't matter. It is the space that is bothering Java. Java doesn't allow space, and the reason for that is just simple. It's because when Java's looking for your class, it's looking for a single string without any spaces, and if there's space in between, it's really going to confuse Java and mess up with it. So if you do need to space it out, the best thing to do is to write an underscore. All right, so this Java will allow. All right, but for now I don't really need to space it out. I'll just leave it like this. Now click OK, and then here we go. Now all this is just written by default because of what I edited within Intellij. Programming exercise 1. Since, and today is the, let's see, I believe it's the 9th. So we'll say 2018 1109. All right, right here is java.doc. Now remember from the summary in chapter 1 where I explained, hey, you should always document your code. This is how you write a java.doc with a / asterisk asterisk, and between it you could write your block of code. All right, so right here the Java compiler will ignore this and will not try to run this this string right here. It will pretend that it's not even there. It's just going to ignore it actually. So there will be no issue. Now by default, there's really nothing here. I have my public class programming exercise 01. All classes are identified with the keyword class, and this public right here is to say that this is visible to all. And this is all under the package called guankevin.chapter01, which you'll see. Let's see. Yeah, don't worry about that. For now, I'll go into package at oh no, okay, right here actually. I can't believe I didn't see it. So that is the name of the package I've written. So this helps you identify where this class is. It's saying, hey, this class, program exercise 01, is inside a package or inside folder actually called guan.kevin.01. So let's see if we could go to that folder to get a better view. So let's see, open directory path, finding path, show in Explorer. There we go. All right. So in my Intellij, we have a project called Introduction to Java Programming and Data Structure. This is a folder we go in, and we have a few more folders right here. And you can see this idea folder, that idea is also right here. This out folder is right here, source folder right there. And as we can see, inside the source folder contain another folder, which Java call package. And what I name this package is called guankevin. Inside guankevin is another folder called chapter 1, and that's where you see your Java class, your Java file. All right, so that's where all of that, so you to get a better view, better visualization of it. All right. Now going back to here, we put that down, and let's try to run this program as is. So what happened when we do that? Let's see. And in fact, Java won't even let you, or in the Intellij won't even let you run it. And the reason for that is because we don't even have a main method right here. We don't even have a main method within this class. So how is it able to even run that? It can't, it won't work. So let's write our main method. And to write our main method, remember, it is always started with public, that's the keyword, static, void, main. And remember, all methods are followed by the parentheses. Then after the parentheses, actually within the parentheses, to make sure this is the main method that Java is looking for, we have to put the string keyword data type followed by this bracket right here to identify this string as an array. Don't worry about that. And convention generally say we use the variable with the name called args. Now this variable, it doesn't really matter what you call it. It's not a big deal. You can name it whatever you want because it's a variable, and a variable is just a name to hold or point onto a piece of data. All right, so you could put 2s. It doesn't even matter. For now, I like to follow convention, and I'll leave it as is. And of course, here's what we learned from the previous video for the chapter 1 summary. The type of what's it called? The type braces or next in line braces that I like to follow. So this is the way I would like to write my braces. I would like to start it right after the on the very first line, and then I press enter. All right, this is how most conventions for most developers, this is how they do it. Now the developers, they could do it, I believe this is called next in line, where they write it like this. Right? It doesn't really matter, this won't affect your code, this is just a convention. And it's good to follow convention, you choose one and you stick with it. And as you can see, by default, Java indents for us. Or I should say Intellij made a little indentation for us. It started to, the next line of code is several space within this block right here, this main method. So that's where you start your code. Right? When you press enter again, it doesn't go right here, it goes inside. And that's where you start your code. All right, so let's let me do a little bit more on commenting main method. This is the main method, Java entry point. So let's right click again. And this time, from before, you didn't see this at all. It say run programming exercise main method. It's when the Java compiler see this, it knows, okay, now I know where to go to run your program. So if you click that, the Java compiler will run, and of course, nothing really appears because we didn't write any code yet. Alright, so it'll just say process finish with exit code 0. So once again, what happened if I were to remove this? Let's say I comment this line out and make it invisible to the Java compiler. You see that run program exercise 01 with the green triangle, it is gone. So you can't even do it anymore. So you need this main method in order to run your code. All right. So let's see. So what we're going to do is we're going to print out the string. So let's see. We're going to start off with. Actually, let me close this. Go back here. And we're going to start off with welcome to Java. We have to display that, right? So step 1, display this. Welcome to Java. So how do we display it? And to do that, it's pretty simple. We're going to use the System.out.print method, this piece of statement, this line of code, to print it out. So we're going to go back and we're going to do that. Now let's see, we're going to write System.out. So once again, the great thing about using an IDE, for example Intellij, it knows all of the variables and method within this system class. So it will automatically display to you, hey, what kind of variables are you using? Here are possible examples that you could use, and it shows you and even tells you what kind of data type they are. This one, current time in millisecond, a variable right here, right, is of a long data type. This out right here, it doesn't have a parentheses, so it's a variable, and it's a print stream data type. We're going to be using the out variable right here. Click that and click enter, and then you click the dot operator, and once again it knows, right? It knows that this variable of print stream type has a lot other variables that or methods that you could use. Now what we're going to be using is this print. Now there's all kinds of print right here, and which one are we going to use? That might be confusing and scary at first, and there's so many right here. Now don't worry, all it is saying is that this print method has the ability to print out integers, Boolean values, character values, long values, float values, double values, character array values, so on and so on. It has the ability to do all of that. It's a very, very strong method. For now, what we're going to do is we're going to use the print method. Now, it doesn't matter which one you click, we could use any of them because in the end, they're still the same method that has the function to use all or any of them. Of course, these are all the functions that it could do. Now, let's see, it said it cannot resolve method print, and that's because you have to put something inside. You have to tell it what to print, or else it's going to print nothing. And if it's going to print nothing, then there's no point writing this System.out.print, right? So it's going to write a little squiggly and say, hey, put something inside here. Now I didn't mention earlier that Java by default imports the system class for you. Now, since it imports the system class for you, you don't actually see it, but you could write it yourself. So java.lang, once again, Java already shows all kinds of packages you could use, right? You could tell that it's a package by this little icon right here. So good, Intellij, right? And that's what I want to use. I want to use the lang package because inside the lang package, it contains the system class. And that's exactly what I want to use. And because of that, I'm able to use this system class right here. Now you might be wondering, I could use it without importing. And once again, that's because Java imports it automatically for you and it's not going to display, it's not going to show it up there. In future exercises, we're going to use many other classes beside system classes, and we're going to have to import it on our own if we want to use it. All right. So this is how you import it, this is how you use it, and now we're going to finally jump into using the System.out.print method. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this. Now we're going to grab this and we're just going to put it in here. Now that does not work. So why does that does not work? Well, this is a string. This is a piece of string with no meaning to it. Java doesn't know what it means. You have to put a string inside a quotation, a double quotation. And if you don't, Java is not going to be able to run it. So after you put it inside double quotation, then Java know, oh, okay, you gave me a string and you put it inside the print method, and if you want to run it, I will print this welcome to Java out for you. So let's take a look at that, right? We're going to run it, run program, or if you're using Intellij, you could click Control Shift F10 to run it. When you run it, the Java compiler looks for the main method. Inside the main method, it runs everything inside it. So it looks inside and it sees this first, so it prints it out. It'll say, welcome to Java. All right. So there we go. We have our first message displayed. After all of that, we finally managed to display our first message. So let's go to our second message. Let's grab it. And our second message is to display, welcome to computer science. Easy, right? You already figured out how to display this message. We're going to now display the second message. So let me ask you, try to think about it. How are you going to display it? What are you going to do? So why don't you pause this video and why don't you tackle it yourself? All right, did you give it a try? Have you did it another way instead of something of printing out like this? Well, either way, let's take a look. So what we're going to do is we're going to write a comment. Our step 2 is to display welcome to computer science. Now, there's actually 2 ways that I want to show you that you could do this. One way is to actually, right, the simplest way, copy this, paste it right here, and we just change the text. Welcome to computer science, and voila. Here we go, welcome to computer science. And when we run it, we will have welcome to Java and welcome to computer science. All right. Now this is the exact thing I was trying to show you earlier, where the way we're going to do it will end up looking something like this, and that is a mess. We don't want that. All right. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. But first, before that, I want to show you another way of doing it. You don't have to write all your string within another print method. You could write it right here. And by writing right here, you're able to also control how you write your welcome to Java string. You could put a little space right here and then paste that here. And here we go. We're going to run that. And what we're going to see is that this time it looks much, much better. Welcome to Java and welcome to computer science. Little space in between. All right. Now, let's see. Pull this back. And you might be thinking, hey, what happened to this? Can we run it too? Sure, why not? Comment it out and run it again. And of course, we're going to get all of that in one line. Welcome to Java, little space right here, welcome to computer science, and then with no space, welcome to computer science again. So we don't want that. All right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna remove this, and we're going to use another method. Now this other method is called println. So what we're gonna do, we're going to delete all of this right here, and we're going to type in ln, and Java automatically know, hey, ln, there's a method called ln, and it could do all of this right here. All right, I'm going to just click that, enter, and there we go. Now for now, before when we wrote print and we didn't put anything inside the parentheses, there was an error. How come right now when you write println, there's no error? Well, the reason for that is pretty simple. That's because Java know that since you're also trying to tell Java to go onto a new line, it knows that it could do something else besides just printing. So if you don't tell it to print, it'll simply just create a new line. So let's take a look and see how that looks like. So we run that, boom, you can see, hey, there's a new line right here. There was no line before, there's space between. And that's what this does. It just creates a new line. But if you do put something in there, remember to follow the usual rule, put it inside double quotes when you're writing a string. All right. Now, here's the other thing. What's going on? Why do I see this welcome to Java, and then there's a no space, welcome to computer science, and then there's a new line? That's so weird. Didn't I write it like this, print line, and then welcome to computer science? Actually, so that's the thing with Java. With this method, actually, I should say. It'll first write out this string, like you see right here. Then it'll say, okay, now I'm going to create a new line. So what should I do? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this print method to a println method. And here we go. Let me run that. Actually, before I do that, let's see what it does. Let's try to visualize what the code does before we run it. So what we say here is, hey, I want to print out this message, welcome to Java. I'll print it out onto the console. Then I want to create a new line. So after I print this out, everything afterward will have to go to a new line. And with that, it'll start this line of code. This line of code will say, okay, print this out first, welcome to computer science. So it'll print that welcome to computer science on this line right here. Then it'll print out a new line. All right, so let's take a look. And here we go. So that is exactly how that will come out. Now, finally, we have step 3, our final step. All right. And step 3, right? Programming is fun. And it is, as long as you enjoy it, or if you enjoy being creative and trying all kind of things, it is pretty fun. All right. Of course, we write a comment for you to know what I'm doing. And then it's good practice for you to do that for your programming exercise. So if you want to jump back to your own exercise in the future, you know what you did. So once again, I'm going to copy this. And this time I want to say, hey, I actually don't want to print a new line after I display the string. I just want it to print the string. So you could just do that and then run it. And here we go. We got all of that all separated in a different line. Now remember, Java reads your code line by line. So we move this on top, we switch it out, we will not be able to get this particular order. We'll get a different order. We'll get welcome to computer science first, and then we'll get welcome to Java, and then finally programming is fun. So as you can see, it'll be different from this order right here. So Java will read the top first, and then it'll go to the second one, then to the third line of code. And of course, it always ignores comments. So as you can see, you see that it says welcome to computer science, then it'll say welcome to Java. And lastly, programming is fun. All right, so in this exercise, we learned a little bit about package, about import, how to import. Right here is java.lang.system. Java is it's a file that contains this package called lang. And this package contains many classes. One of the classes is the system class, which we use to be able to display strings onto the console. We learned how to write Java doc, which starts with /**. Anything in between will be your comments. We start with an asterisk. All these right here are ignored by Java. This is mainly used to document your code, and then you could write your who the author is, the version, and since date. Now every class begins with a public class, the name of the class, and all class by convention starts with an uppercase letter followed by lowercase. You should always comment your code so you know what your code does. And then there is the public static void main method. This method is the entry point to Java, so Java knows where to look to run your program. So it'll look for this main method, and then it'll look inside the main method and run your code. All right, and right here we display our 3 messages, and we use 2 types of methods to display it. We use the println method, where it'll print the string first, then it'll create a new line for the new text to start. So for the next text, it'll print it in the new line, and then it'll create a new line for the next text. And lastly, the print method, which simply just prints the method. Now, if you don't have anything inside the print method, it will give you an error. So it expects a string or some kind of variable inside the print method for it to print. Unlike the print line method, where it's okay that you don't have to put a string, and it will just print out a new line for you. All right, so that will be it for this programming exercise. And lastly, unrelated to the exercise, please let me know if this font size worked for you. If there's anything else in this video that you would like me to change or do for future videos, and if there's anything that you would like to mention that I've forgot to mention, or anything else that comes to mind.